Alright, so I'm going to run through this anti-radar missile practice mission. It's pretty easy. It's just to get used to the basics of using the anti-radar missile system. So I'll just press start.
In this mission you can practice using two types of anti-radar missiles against an SA-11 SAM site located at waypoint 2.
First step, we gotta take off. Right now I'm sitting here kind of idling. This dial shows how many RPMs we got going on in the engines, and I'm cranking her up. Got the front wheel brakes locked so we're not moving. Now we're starting to budge. And I let out the brakes. Straight, having a bit of trouble here. The upper left, you can see the airspeed. We're going about 280. We're about to lift off around now. Up with the landing gear. For the flight, they set a bunch of waypoints to your machine. So currently I'm in on route mode. All the symbols are in Russian, so I don't know what MPW actually stands for, but that means on route. In the lower right-hand corner, you can see the number 1. Now it's number 2. It is switched. That means we're heading to the second waypoint. The number in between, 26, that's counting down, is the kilometer distance to that
waypoint. Turn on the radar targeting system by pressing I. Cycle to the missile you want by pressing D.
So what we're going to do is launch these big missiles at our target, which is this surface-to-air missile battery, which is sitting on this hill. Just sitting there, defending valiantly.
Fly in the direction of the radar indication on the SPO-15 radar warning receiver, located in the lower right of the front dash.
Anyways, I'll get back to the airplane. If you look at the plane, this huge big pod in the center is what we're using to detect radar emissions. So what it's doing, this circle, it's picked up the radar emissions from the SAM battery that I just showed you. I'm moving my cursor over them so I can basically feed that information from that huge pod on the bottom to the missiles. Once the missiles get them, they can launch.
Use the comma, period, forward slash and semicolon slow keys to move the box on the HUD over the detected radar
means
source,
I have
indicated as a diamond.
These big huge ones on the innermost pylon selected. They're called a KH-58. You can see these two dashes correspond to the currently selected weapon. This counter, this arrow that's dropping down to that solid bar, once it gets to the solid bar, I'm in range. Once I'm in range, I can actually fire. There we go. So I'm still inbound. I'm going to try to fire another missile off. That beeping is the radar warning receiver. Currently, it's telling me there's radars tracking me. So they see I'm there, but they're not doing anything. So I'm trying to pick up another one. I fire. Wait, the second one goes. What these things do are they fire up into the atmospheres to the needed altitude so they can drop down on their target, which they're currently doing. They home in on radar emissions. So once I fire them, I don't need to do anything. Okay, so that beeping, the solid thing, means I'm being logged on. So I'm doing a hard turn. Dropping chaff. You can see them firing back at me. Those smoke streams are... those are surface to air missiles coming at me, so they've launched. You can see that message, one of my targets was hit. You can see there looks like a close miss. Where was the one that was... yeah, that was just destroyed. So I fired the 2 big missiles. I'll have to come back and make another pass. You can see me going away from the site. I sort of dove down into this valley to get out of the radar's ability to detect me. I'm just going to sort of loop around and make another pass at the remaining surface-to-air missiles. So you see in the lower right it says 25 MN. Again, it's a Russian symbol. I don't know what that means. That just means I've got the upper set of missiles selected, the KH-25s. Then loop around. So my radar warning receiver is not detecting anything. It's because I'm pretty low, I think. So nobody... there we go. It comes on. It's pretty primitive. It's just basically telling me I'm getting a radar emission about 10 degrees to my right. It tells me the X, that's that little lamp that's illuminated. That means it's a medium range radar. And we know it's that surface-to-air missile battery. So they're currently tracking us again. So turn. Again, this pod thing. It allows me to move this little square cursor over the detected radar systems. The pod is also telling you what kind of radar is. You can see those the writing underneath the little triangles, the BYK. That corresponds to the type of radar it is. In this case, it stands for the SA-11s, which are what we're trying to kill. So that solid beeping means they're locked onto me. I fire. Switch over to another one. Fire. So you can see they launched at me and I launched at them. I'm going to break away. Looks like a ton of missiles coming at me. So basically I'm going to get sideways and I want to drop chat. Then I want to go down low. The missiles are a bit wonky, they're kind of spinning. Popping is me letting out chat. Just gonna duck into this valley again. those two got smoked. All that's left is this thing in the middle. This is the air search radar for the SAM battery. It by itself cannot fire missiles. I've destroyed the 3 launchers though. Again, I just spun around. I went through this valley. Did a little loop. Now I'm coming back at them. So I can detect his radar. I can see the little triangle. The cursor over the triangle. That will tell the missile that that's the thing. That's the radar I want it to go after. So look at the arrow coming down. Once they're launched, I don't need to track anything at that point. I can just do what I want. Here's the missile view. So again, these things launch up to the right angle that they need to be at, and then they sort of plunge down on the radar emitter that they're going after. And that's going to be it. Eat it! Well, in a second. I don't know. I thought it was closer than that. There we go. Boom.
Mission success. Well done. The SAM installation has been destroyed. You may RTV.
Adjust the HUD to get me back to base. I'm going through my waypoints. I'm having trouble doing this. There we go. So that B3B, that's Russian for something, but it means return to base. This 14 corresponds to the airport that I'm going to, which is Kutaisi, which is the one I launched from. And 51, this countdown, is the number of kilometers away from that waypoint. Look at this thing, this yellow right here at the top, it tells me that's the direction I'm going, so I'm going about like 270 compass direction. Sorry, it's radio chatter.
106, Сокот. Следуйте курсом 274. Удаление 80. Давление 758,95. Посадочное 09. Занимайте высоту круга.
So this is just basically tells me like where my next waypoint is. I want to return to base, and so I want to get this yellow arrow lined up with the direction I'm heading. The 2 solid white arrows in there indicate the waypoint direction. So right now I'm going towards the waypoint, and I'm actually on course as well. So the return to base waypoint is actually not at Kutaisi itself. It's about 10 kilometers away from the runway. And that's basically not to guide you to the airport, but to guide you to the point where you want to start to begin your landing, if that makes sense. This other stuff, here's some autopilot. These are the autopilot buttons. I don't use all of them. I do the straight level one, and I do use the bank autopilot. It's kind of useful. These are selectors for your for bombs. You can set your salvo size and the time between the drops. That's the thrust thing. push it forward. It's like it slides up and down that metal thing, and it's like makes you go. Gives you power to your engines. Currently have it at 80%. That's the RPM of your engines. There's two dials in there for both, because you got a right and a left engine. That's your fuel gauge. That's a temperature thing of some sort. That's your selected weapons. K, I can't remember what that stands for. It's all in Russian, that's why it's like so confusing what all this stuff means. That's your radar warning receiver, that's your fuel. It's for your main tank and your left and right tanks. This is like a clock. Yeah, there's like lots of crap in here, lots of switches. You don't have to interact with this stuff, these are like startup fuses and things. These are for like, yeah, that's to select your HUD stuff. So what am I doing? Yeah, oh yeah, I'm playing with my HUD, that's what. So you can see these buttons being pressed as you hit the keys. This thing here is there's a little camera mounted at the front of the plane. You can use that to lock onto targets and to guide, like, what is it? Electro-optically guided weapons. Anyways, there's a little TV set that's mounted on a gimbal gyroscope. So you can see this TV set when you turn it on. You can see the actual image here, so you can scan for stuff. It's got there's another pod you can optionally get that lets you do night vision stuff. I didn't need it in this mission, so I did not interact with this guy, but a lot of the times you're putting targeting information into this TV. And that TV is mounted like right there. This plane's cool, it's got a 30mm cannon. You can... Oh, also in there there's a laser. Turn on laser so you can laser guide weapons. You can also laser guide the cannon if you want. The cannon can depress, I think, up to 70 degrees, so you can lower it up and down as you need. I talked about this thing before, this pod that basically talks to your radar warning missiles. You don't always have this pod or need it. These things here that are still on the rails, those are air-to-air missiles. Cool. This plane's a beast. It's, you're surrounded by a titanium tub around the pilot, so to protect them from ground fire, basically. It's a very sturdy aircraft. And with these things on the tips of the wings can extend to function as air brakes. So you can see I'm past Kutaisi right now. And now it's directing me to... Yeah, that's no longer RTV, now it's telling me to turn back. The hat OC means landing. So I'm currently in landing mode. So that's 17.5 kilometers away. So you can see what it did is it steered me past Kutaisi and it wants me to turn around. And that's because I have to land the opposite direction that I took off. So it automatically guides you to the sort of correct distance away to initiate that. So I'm doing a turn. That's the chaff dispenser. That's popping those off. The user's there, so it's a big shot at me. I also have a flare launcher. There's two hour. I'm slowing down. I've got my engines cranked down a bit. Lower my flaps. You want to do that when you land. Under 400 kilometers per hour, you can put your landing gear down as well. So your waypoint, you can see it's still trying to guide me to the airport. I'm not quite doing it because I'm kind of way off course, so I'm just doing it by eyeball. But you can, if it's like pitch black out, you can follow this circle here is telling you when you're landing, like where you should be pointing the nose of the aircraft to intercept where it wants you to go. So you can fly this like in super bad weather or in like in totally blind conditions. I'm not using it, like I said, I'm just eyeballing it. Oh, landing gear down. Missed that. Sorry. Just watch this landing occur. Landings are super nerve-wracking. Cutting power. So the brakes really suck on this, but tapping the brakes to try to get it slowed down. I just popped the chute. You need to deploy the drag chute because this thing can't stop very well, and you will definitely end up going off the end of the runway.
Заруливайте на стоянку.
That's the lady.
Кутаиси, 106. Отмена взлета.